In the fading twilight of the Roman legacy, when the Western Empire was but a memory and the East clung precariously to its glory, one name thundered across the ravaged landscapes of a fractured world: Belisarius. He was the sword of Emperor Justinian, a military genius who dreamed of reuniting a broken empire. His story is one of breathtaking victories, unwavering loyalty, and the tragic ironies of fate. This is the saga of the man they called the last of the Romans. Born a Thracian peasant, Belisarius rose through the ranks by sheer merit. His early campaigns on the Persian frontier showcased his tactical acumen. At Dara in 530 AD, outnumbered by the Sasanian Persians, he employed innovative defensive tactics, digging trenches that channeled the enemy into kill zones, securing a stunning victory. Though the Persian wars were a grueling stalemate, Dara announced Belisarius's arrival on the world stage. He learned the art of war in the harsh eastern deserts, mastering logistics, cavalry maneuvers, and the psychology of his diverse troops, lessons that would soon be put to an even greater test. His star was ascending in Constantinople, catching the eye of the ambitious Emperor Justinian and his formidable wife, Theodora. Before he could turn his gaze westward, a crisis erupted in the heart of the empire. In 532 AD, the Nika Riots engulfed Constantinople. Chariot factions, blues and greens, united against Justinian, burning half the city and proclaiming a new emperor. Justinian prepared to flee, but Theodora's iron will held him firm. It was Belisarius, alongside the eunuch Narses, who quelled the revolt with brutal efficiency, cornering and slaughtering tens of thousands in the hippodrome. His loyalty, though bloody, saved Justinian's throne. With the capital secured, Justinian unleashed Belisarius on the Vandal kingdom in North Africa. In 533 AD, with a modest fleet and barely 15,000 men, he landed. The Vandals, a century removed from their fierce warrior past, had grown complacent. Belisarius, employing swift marches and exploiting Vandal disunity, crushed them in two decisive battles, ad Decimum and Trichomarum. He captured Carthage, recovered the plundered treasures of Rome, and brought the Vandal king Gelimer back to Constantinople in chains. In less than a year, North Africa, a vital breadbasket, was restored to the empire. Belisarius celebrated a triumph, the first granted to a private citizen in over 500 years, a spectacle that briefly rekindled the grandeur of ancient Rome. Justinian's ambition soared. Next target, Italy, held by the Ostrogoths. In 535 AD, Belisarius, with an even smaller force, invaded Sicily and then mainland Italy. The Gothic War would become his longest, most arduous campaign. He captured Naples, then Rome itself, in 536 AD, entering the ancient capital not as a conqueror but as a liberator. But the Goths, under their new king Witiges, regrouped and besieged Rome for over a year. Belisarius, heavily outnumbered, conducted a masterful defense, sallying out, repairing walls under fire, and outmaneuvering the enemy at every turn. His engineering skills and the resilience of his troops held the Eternal City against overwhelming odds. Despite his successes, Belisarius faced suspicion from Justinian, fueled by court rivals, and perhaps Theodora's own machinations. Narses was often sent as a check on his power, sometimes hindering operations. Yet Belisarius pressed on. He besieged the Gothic capital of Ravenna. In a cunning move, the Goths offered Belisarius the Western imperial throne. He feigned acceptance to gain entry into the city in 540 AD, then promptly declared Ravenna for Justinian. Though loyal, this act further stoked Justinian's paranoia. Recalled to Constantinople, Belisarius was dispatched again to the Persian front, then briefly back to Italy to counter a Gothic resurgence under the formidable Totila. His resources were always limited, his efforts hampered by imperial distrust. His final military act was defending Constantinople against a Bulgar invasion in 559 AD, routing them with a hastily assembled force. Accused of conspiracy late in life, his property was confiscated, though later restored. A persistent legend, likely untrue but poignantly symbolic, tells of Belisarius, old and blind, reduced to begging in the streets of Constantinople, crying, "Give an obol to Belisarius." Whether fact or fiction, it reflects the precarious fortunes of even the greatest servants of empire. Belisarius expanded the Byzantine Empire significantly, a brilliant general whose loyalty was often repaid with suspicion. His campaigns are studied military masterpieces, a final, brilliant echo of Roman martial prowess. Subscribe.